Hey, welcome back to Mexicali Fish Keeper. Today what I'm going to be doing is trying to get these guys' tank ready for them to be able to move. As I've told you in the past, in previous videos, I wanted to move these guys to a different type of tank. The reason I'm moving them from this tank though is because this has an internal sump in the system, and for these goldfish I'm finding a real hard time keeping up with the maintenance for that sump tank. So what I want to do is, like I told you in the past, I wanted to move them over here to this side. Doing today, I'm going to start cleaning out this tank. As you can see, it looks pretty dirty, and it's got some buildup in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape it and scrub it until I get it clean, and we can move those other guys. So next time you see this, it should be clean. So see you guys in a bit.
Yeah!
Okay, as you guys can see, I've already cleaned out most of this tank. Now what I'm going to do is, this is the one that I was talking about trying to set up with a Plenum, which is basically just, it's probably not the same thing, but just to get a basic understanding, it's like a modified under gravel filter system. Okay, here are some of the components we're going to need to be able to do this. Of course, we got our under gravel filter. Like I was telling you, we got these little mesh, I guess they're like needle point mats or something like that is what they call them. I picked these up at Walmart. We're going to use some laterite, because that's going to provide some iron for the plants that we're going to be putting there. I'm going to use some of this sand, my local source sand that I was able to get out there in that wash that's by my house. We're going to use that as the primary, or the very bottom layer. And then my understanding is that we're going to use kitty litter, and we're using for the natural clay, fragrance free, doesn't have any substance added to it. It's not the type that will clump up. This is what I've seen used in several of the other videos. Okay, so here's what I did. This is your regular under gravel filter, and I'm going to turn it over. Basically what I did, I cut out the little pieces that come in between here. I put the little retainers to hold the panels together. So what I'm trying to do is to prevent that sand from filtering through these grates. I took these, measured them out, and cut them out to size. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue these on here just to keep them from, prevent them from moving around when I start putting the substrates on here. And it basically took about 3 1/4, I guess, if you want to call it that. This little piece right here. And this one, I need to notch out this little area right in here. This area right here, I got to make sure I cut this out from here, because this is where my lift tube is going to go. Okay. As you can see, I've already adhered this to the surface of this. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and put this on the bottom in that tank, and I'll start layering some of the substrates, and I'll show you how that's done. As you can see, I've already added the last cap over here, which is going to be that sand. Roughly, on the back, I have maybe about 6 inches height, because it has a grade towards the front, and that's going to be on top of where the filter can be at, and you can get a point of reference based on where the outlet's going to be. You can only see how much is about 1.5 inches that's sticking out. And according to Dr. Novak, that's about the height you want. You don't want a lot of lift. because you want slow water movement to be able to create that agnostic filtration that's going to occur. My hopes are that most of the goldfish will, when they want to dig around the sand, will be out here in the front, where I have all this area here about 8 inches, and then so they don't dig up anything in there. There's nothing in there. But as you guys will see, one can plan, and the fish will do whatever they want. And I got a video coming out on that 75 gallon exactly talking about that, some of the issues that I've had. But you know, well, I'll try it again, see what happens. Hopefully they'll be able to stay in the frontal area, and I should be able to grow some plants in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and start hardscaping this, and once it's done, I'll go ahead and show you, see what the outcome's going to look like. All right, see you guys in a little bit. So there you go. This is the hardscape I'm going to go with. I'm going to start selecting some plants out of my other tanks. I'm thinking I'm going to put some jungle valve, and I know I can put in some anubias in there. Hopefully they won't eat any of those 2 plants. I've gone ahead and put some of the plants in there. It's not fully planted yet because I still need to wait till some of my other plants grow out and I can get clippings of those and transplant them over here. I have plenty of jungle valves, so technically I could have filled out the whole back of this, but I want to have other plants other than just jungle valve, so they're going to be concentrated on the left hand corner. Also, when I went to San Diego, I was able to pick up a couple of anubiases, and I had put them in the goldfish tank when I first got them, these right here, and they were nipping at them, so I took them out and put them on a 10 gallon tank just to kind of quarantine those plants. But that's what I'm going to have in there. I have some hydrophilia in the back. I don't know how that's going to work out. And I have some repits in the corner. And we'll see what happens with that. Right now I'm in the process of filling it out. My goal is to be able to take some of this duckweed that's like in this tank. All this duckweed over here. And a lot of it here. And as you can see, I still have a bucket full. Well, instead of letting that go to waste, I feel that the goldfish could benefit from this. So these guys, I remember when I got him, or her, it's actually a her now, but when my grandson picked him out, he thought it was Bob. Now it's Bobby. And I basically raised him on duckweed because he was in I want to remember, yeah, in this 56 gallon down here, and he had cleared out the entire top. The only thing that was still floating up there was the water lettuce, which for some reason he didn't like that. He left that alone. But most of that duckweed was gone, and in a short time of him not being in there, you can see how much I've gotten back. So hopefully these guys will help me control my duckweed in my room. I don't want to get rid of duckweed. In some of these tanks, I actually want to keep it there because it helps build up microbacteria, especially when I'm trying to grow up fry and stuff like that. But I do want them to be able to help me control it. So that's where these guys will be going. And we'll see what happens once I get that water filled up and I do the transfer over. I'll show you what it looks like. So for right now, it's a sit and wait game for me until this aquarium gets filled with water. So see you guys in a little bit. Well, as you can see, the tank's almost full. I know that it looks real murky, but I forgot to record that. But anyways, what I ended up doing was taking a sponge filter that I had in the 55 gallon that was already needed some cleaning. So I squeezed all that moam in there to try to help kickstart the cycling for this aquarium. Also, I have a spare sponge filter that I'm going to be placing in there until the beneficial bacteria can settle in and colonize the substrate and the rocks and everything else, all the surfaces within this aquarium. So that's the reason why this looks kind of murky. My understanding is with this underground filter running, it should probably take it a few hours before it clears out. And what I'll do is, if it does happen that quick, I'll just take a video of it to show you guys. So finally I was able to get this tank to clear up. In actuality, this is probably, I think, 2-3 days after I actually had started the filters on this. I just didn't have time to come back and film it once it had cleared up initially, because I was going to work. And finally today I had a little bit of time, and I figured I'd finish doing the update on this tank. So this is where their home's going to be from now on. As you can see, I've got some plants in there. I was able to put those Anubiases in there. This one that looks like they're already starting to pull on it, so I didn't think I was going to have to glue it, but I mean, if I have to, I have to. I thought I had wedged it in there pretty good. And I put some jungle val in the back, just because I have a lot of jungle val, and hopefully it doesn't look like they're tugging on it too much. Hopefully the roots will be able to establish themselves in there, and I'm trying to pull off something that is, I guess, very, very hard to do, which is having goldfish in a planted tank. But if you don't try it, I mean, if you don't do it for yourself, you're never gonna know if that's gonna work or not. I know there's a lot of advice out there that, you know, tell you not to do it because these guys will munch on those leaves, and they do, but that's okay. All my tanks have plants in them, and this is one that I wanted to do that with them. I've seen some people pull it off. I don't know for how long, but I'm gonna give it a go. Also, the real reason that I wanted them in here also was because on that tank that they had with the internal sump, I wasn't able to do this, which is be able to take some of my excess duckweed and be able to put it in here, and these guys munch on that all day long. So they're gonna help me control the amount of duckweed in this room. Instead of throwing it away, it's actually gonna provide a good source of nutrients for them. And I know this one, which I'm finding out is a female. When my grandson got him, he named him Bob, but I guess it's gonna be Bobby. She really grew a lot when I had her in a 55 way when she was smaller, and she was just munching on duckweed all day long. So hopefully these guys will go through a little bit of growth spurts. I know that they're eating the duckweed because when they're producing waste, they look like little bright green pellets, and I can see them floating up at the top of this aquarium. That stuff right there, and I know that's a good indicator to me that they are taking advantage of that duckweed up there. So I'll keep you updated as to what's going on with this, and you know, well, I guess I'll learn from my either success or mistakes. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.